Here we go. Going live. We are here. Hooray. I'm here. Are you here? Let me know that you're here. Mercury's direct. Now what? Now what happens? Okay. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here to this special Facebook Live event. This is, hi, Kimberly. I can't remember how many of these I've done already, but I'm getting good practice. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. Okay, today we're talking about what happens, hi Rhonda, what happens now that Mercury is direct in motion. So today we are live, thank you, August 20th, 4 p.m. Pacific, 2018, if we didn't know. And for the next 20 minutes or so, we'll be talking about the Mercury in retrograde. Hi, Carlita. Welcome back. And what to expect this week. All right. So to listen, first of all, I got to do the housekeeping. To listen to this event, please make sure to click on the icon for the speaker so you can hear me. And of course, if the icon's not clicked on, you can't hear me. So I should probably hold up a sign that says, turn up your volume. I've had a few emails from folks talking about their apprehension about buying anything in a Mercury in retrograde. And hi, Nani. And that's from a previous event I did a few weeks ago. Now, let me clarify because people were asking about readings. When Mercury is retrograde, it is the perfect time to actually bypass your own thoughts and to get to the core and the heart of the matter, to get clear on your own patterns and your behavior. And that's very different than, buying a car or a new phone or having your kitchen refurnished or something, or, refurbished or something. So, or hiring a contractor. Okay. So all retrograde planets are the perfect time to go within. Mercury helps you to bypass your thoughts. So you let down your defenses and you can get into the core of the matter. And so because of that, I'm going to extend the karmic clarity readings for this week. So to assuage everyone's fears who were apprehensive about buying. And what usually happens if someone buys a massage or energy work or an astrological session and they can't get to it, what usually happens is they come back around in the next retrograde, which is November 16th through December 6th, at a week either side. So if you buy the session now, then you can schedule it anytime you like. Right now, you can get your special karmic clarity session, 40-minute private reading with me for a whopping 63% off. Okay, so to book your reading, just click on the blue Book Now button. If you're on the computer, if you're on a mobile, scroll to the bottom and you'll see the link. Great. Now, a quick reminder, in case you forgot or you are just new and joining us, that the planets in astrology, it is my belief and my experience that the planets don't do anything to you, that we live in a cooperation with our cosmos. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that in the cosmos. It's called a cooperation, folks. We're on a covert cooperation to ignite your power. Hey, oh my gosh, is that Jennifer? Jennifer Perry. Hola, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Okay, so today we're going to cover two major key points about what happens when Mercury goes direct and the week, especially that it turns direct from a few days before to a week after. And then where do you focus your thoughts at that point? Then what happens? So number one, let's look at, first of all, just a little recap. If you're not familiar with Mercury in retrograde, when any planet goes retrograde, it's the time to go within. When Mercury is retrograde, it's the time when your thoughts and your perceptions are very different. That life is not exactly what you thought it was going to be, that technology does not work the way you want it to. Your phone, you're working on something and suddenly it disappears, or you think you saved it, but you actually didn't because your perception is off. So we get distracted a lot more easily in a retrograde. The week that Mercury goes direct, and that is a few days before, it went direct yesterday, Sunday, August 19th. But if you look at Thursday and Friday, more Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that's today, and then the rest of this week, we're looking at smoothing out the wrinkles. Now, so Mercury represents communication, right? And short journeys and siblings, but I'm talking more about your perceptions and your communication. Before you open your mouth to speak, communication starts on the inside, in your brain and in your heart. And it's not always about the chatter that's going on, regarding this thing. It's what's behind that. Where does that perception come from? So when Mercury turns direct, suddenly you might feel upset. You might feel confused. You might be in the middle of a project with someone and they suddenly check out, or they give you different information that you didn't have, a few days ago or last week, and you're wondering, what the heck? And hi, Shannon, and Stars here. Hi. So, it's very interesting that what I've experienced a lot of times during a retrograde that my sister and I call sightings is that the past comes back via people. Also things, you revisit projects that you were working on, or a book that you put down that you never finished and you pick it up again, or something like that. But I'm more interested in the importance of when people show up, what do they show you about yourself? Not about them. They're, unless they've changed, great. But you want to ask yourself in any retrograde, am I done yet? Am I done with this person? Am I done with this information? So this week now, you might feel a little, you might feel like you need to wander. Like, what was I doing? Why was I doing that? And do I need to keep doing that? That's the question that comes up a lot during the week that Mercury goes direct. You might lose information or data, or just when you think something is supposed to be a thing, oh yeah, we're going to do that thing next week, next month, tomorrow, it gets changed again, but in a way that really bothers you. So your perceptions are tied into how you not just think about something, but how you feel about something. And so Star says, the past revisits and people good think, okay. So data disappears from your computer, things get put into different folders without your permission. That computer has a mind of its own, doesn't it? Or when you're not paying attention, you delete documents that are very important, or things get hinky. The flow is disrupted this week. So people think, oh, Mercury's direct, the day after I can go forward with that big thing. Well, if that big thing has to do with your self-improvement, your self-empowerment, counseling, healing, going in, working things out, absolutely. If it's about buying a major appliance or renovating something, save receipts if you can't get out of it. Think ahead, plan a little bit more, see what the next couple of days bring. My husband even said, oh, we need to book that trip for February. And I said, just give it a couple of days because the prices are going to come down. And then, we can move forward. So now, this is why I really advise allowing your brain and your technology to reboot themselves the week that Mercury goes direct. And, my friends and my clients will also note that they've discovered something that week about themselves, brought on by a situation that happened during the retrograde. As in, let's see. Oh, I had a reading this morning, actually, with one of my clients, and she'd been waiting. Oh, and it also depends on where Mercury is in your chart. So for this particular client, this Mercury retrograde was in the sign of Leo, so it can be very emotional, very dramatic, dealing with a lot of particulars that evoke fill in the blank, empathy, sympathy, rage, disgust, a lot of emotions come up during this time. So during the retrograde, my client was thrown because she was waiting to be put into a different department at her job, and she kept getting the runaround, and then she found out that the person who was supposed to submit the application never did, And so she was enraged. She just she was ready to blow. So I suggested that she take a little bit more time and assess the information. And she said, yes, I'm going to document everything from day one. And so that kept her busy. And that's a very positive, powerful thing to do during this stretch, this week especially, of August 19th. And then Friday rolled around. And then she was notified by email, oh, congratulations, you were transferred to the other department. And she was like, what just happened? And then she was given a raise. So all the things that she was hoping to achieve, yet it didn't happen at the time she thought it was going to happen. Remember, it's about your perceptions. What did it bring up for her? It wasn't about those people. It was about her and her anger, her expectations, her judgments. And so she was able to heal a whole lot quicker. So yes, you can solve. Star asks, is it good to solve long-term stuff? During a retrograde, when things come up, it's great to look at what is the recurring situation. What comes back? Everything comes back in a retrograde. It means to step back. So the past comes back in the retrograde and it comes into your future. And your job is to look at that thing, that person, that object, that situation and say, am I done? Am I done with you yet? And so that's why my sister and I call them sightings. This week is to smooth out all the wrinkles. So let me know if in the chat, in the comment section, if anyone's past came back via a person. And while you let me know that, I'll tell you that I had my own sighting while doing one of these Facebook Live events. Someone that I used to know 19 years ago saw me. This is a prominent figure. He's a celebrity, and he saw me, and it was like, whoa, and he had to get in touch with me. So he booked a reading. So he could get in touch with me, and we chatted, and it was amazing. And then my question was, oh, what should I do now? Should I continue the relationship? So I just left it open. I said, if you're ever in town, come visit. We'd love to have you. And just let us know. And that was it. And I let it go. But I thought, what did it bring up in me? It brought up in me when I first was getting to know him. I was a new mother. I was out of my mind. I was not present. I was sleep deprived. I was crazed. It was a lot. So I decided to not put anything on it, but see the person for who he was when we were speaking this current time. So, point 2 now, what do you do now that Mercury is direct? And if you're just joining us, hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Let us know. Two perceptions are never the same. Everyone has their own perception of the same situation. Yes, it's called the truth. And there's 3 versions of the truth. My version, your version, and the truth. There is a truth, and there is your truth. And you need to know the distinction. So thank you for bringing that up, Kimberly, because a truth for everyone is, without air, we die, right? We can't live in our bodies. If it rains and you walk in the rain, you get wet. That is a truth. Your truth, however, is going to be dependent upon your needs, your karma, your perception, and how you express yourself in the world. So now what do you do now that your thoughts are just coming back to center after a retrograde? What do you do with that? Well, you want to see first what came up during the retrograde. Now, for some people, it's that same issue, with that same person. And now it really goes to core because it's a Leo energy and it's more emotional. And you're thinking, I have to do something. I can't keep cycling around the same block or circling the same drain over this thing. What can I do? And that's when you need to go in, have a great conversation with someone that you love, who you trust their opinion. That's where it's a great time to get a reading, get a massage, go for some clarity. Especially this week, you want to really give yourself a chance this week so that you're not stuck in a place of the past that doesn't move forward. So I've got a great question from Rhonda. If you are born with a Mercury retrograde, is it a good thing? There's no such thing, my friends. It's good or bad. All right, we don't want to crash our car. We would call that a bad thing. But if crashing your car takes you to the next place where you heal something and you stop a behavior, was it really a bad thing? There's an old Chinese parable called Good Neighbor. And I'm going to paraphrase very quickly. Good neighbor, good neighbor. A man comes by and says, oh, what's wrong? You look upset. Oh, good neighbor, my son found, it starts with, oh, my good neighbor, you look happy. What's up? And, oh, my son found a wild horse and he gets to keep him. Oh, that's fantastic. But who's to say if it's good or bad? Because the guy says, oh, that was a really good thing. And then he comes back a week later. What's wrong, neighbor? And he said, oh, my son fell off that new horse and that's so bad. He broke his leg. And the neighbor says, well, who's to say what's good or bad? And then he comes back a week later and the man's happy. What's going on, neighbor? Well, my son broke his leg, but the Chinese army came by looking for conscripts. They did not take my son because his leg was broken. So who's to say what's good or bad? Okay, so is it good or bad being born with a Mercury in retrograde? No, your perception is different. When you are born with a Mercury in retrograde and then Mercury goes retrograde during a transit, you have more clarity. If you are not born with a Mercury in retrograde, when Mercury is not retrograde, you have more clarity. It's just a matter of your perception. No good or bad. Nothing to it. It's a karmic thing. Yes, a lesson. Okay, so now, as I said earlier, depending on where Mercury is in your chart, it tells you what the topic will be. I had another client that I gave a reading to, and Mercury transited, which means it moves in the heavens around your natal chart. And it was transiting through her house of health. And she had been working out really hard and discovered during the retrograde she didn't want to work out really hard. It wasn't helping her. It actually made her gain weight. Because what she discovered during this retrograde, because I recommended that she get a checkup prior to the retrograde so that she'd have more clear information. Unless you're born in a retrograde, then you would go during a retrograde. But she got her checkup and right before Mercury went retrograde. And so she went and started working out like crazy, every day, an hour running, treadmill, working it. And then what happens is she's exhausted by week 3 and she has a temper tantrum, big hissy fit. I don't want to do this, I don't like this. Well, of course, her intuition is telling her this is not for her. And she goes back to the doctor. The doctor says, you have adrenal fatigue. No wonder you're gaining weight. No wonder you're exhausted. We have to change your routine. So now she's stretching, doing yoga, and it's a much different thing. So you have to pay attention to where Mercury is in your chart if you know. And if you don't, book a reading with me. Click on the Book Now button and we can straighten that out for you. And so everything in your life is here because of you. Just keep that in mind, okay? Everything is here because of you because you're the magnet. Now, people don't ask for negative or bad things to happen to them. They don't ask for struggle or to suffer, but we do because of who we are, that we perpetuate a perception that may not be true. So that's what Mercury in retrograde is all about. When it goes direct, and that is this week, we're smoothing out the wrinkles. And I realize, you might say to yourself, I realize when so-and-so came back into my life at another client, another reading I did, and that was a big one. Not only did one person come back, but many people came back at the same time on the same day. And she said, what the blank is going on? And what these people represent. And I said to her, it's not about the individual people, it's what they represent for you. What happened to you? And it brought up her sorrow. Perfect, right? So, but then what do? Well, you meditate, you eat well, you take care of yourself. And on Wednesday, actually, at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, I will be back here to give you techniques, proven techniques, to help you get over yourself. How does that sound? And to help you stay present in 30 seconds or less. How do you do that? Oh, I'll show you. You got to come back. Okay. So, let me just remind you, everybody, we are all pure conscious love. That's it. What do you want to do with that? You're magical. You're powerful. And so your karma comes into play, and that's not good or bad. It's not, I ruined something then, so it's coming back in my face now. Sometimes, okay, yeah, but it's not really. It doesn't work that way. Because it could be lifetimes before you see something come back your way. You want to look at what's repetitive in your life. What's repetitive that does not produce positive results? And it all starts with your brain. And we're going to talk about brain entrainment on Wednesday. And it also starts with your perception, what you want to do, how you want to do it, with whom you'd like to do it. And, cause and effect is huge. If I step on your toes and I don't apologize and it hurts your feelings, then you go home and, oh, my foot hurt and she stepped on it and she didn't say, I'm sorry. And, and that used to be a huge thing for me. Ask my husband, Dean. Used to be huge. Lisa, hi, Lisa. Lisa's here. So huge that we laugh about it now, how I demanded apologies from people. I demanded apologies. That was my Leo moon talking. And because when I felt so wounded, I thought the only way they could make it better is by validating me with an apology. But then I realized after a while and doing a lot of healing work on myself and owning my stuff, it's important you own your stuff, that, it wasn't about apologies. It wasn't about them validating me. It was about me validating me. So what did I do? I learned how to feel my feelings in the moment that I was feeling them. I validated myself and therefore let the world off the hook. I let the world off the hook. Wouldn't that be a happy thing, cause and effect? What you put out, you get back. But everybody has an expectation, too much so, where, yes, Kimberly says mindfulness, absolutely. Hi, Lori. Hello. Mindfulness. So when you are present in as many moments as possible, you can make the kind of changes, decisions that you'd like to make for yourself and for your family too. So I think it's important too that, when I talk about astrology, I am an intuitive astrologer, and as an oracle, a clairvoyant, people think, it's kind of funny. I'll go to a party or something and I get two very distinct. And I love to do this during a retrograde because people are much more open. It bypasses their stuff. And they're like, really? Wow, that's really cool. But when Mercury's not retrograde and I meet someone at an event and I don't know them, there's two very distinct reactions. One is, oh, when I tell them what I do. And they go, oh, wow. And I see how uncomfortable they are. And I'll say, aren't the flowers beautiful? Did you try the arugula? It's delicious. So let them off the hook. Then there's the other people who, as soon as I meet them, it's like, oh, here's my birthday. What do you see? And I say to them, in a very kind way, imagine meeting a dentist at a dinner party. Would you open your mouth and point to a tooth and go, what do you see? Well, here's what I see. I see everyone trying to be who they want to be and who they think they ought to be. So go out and be who you choose to be. And as long as it's not causing harm to anyone or yourself, because that's where we start. And if it gives you joy to wear, strange hats every Wednesday at noon, go do it. Well, why not? This is why we're here. We're here to express ourselves. Hey, Kate's here too. Hi, Kate and Elizabeth. Hey, it's like we should all sit around with a cup of tea and go, welcome back. Hi. Oh, I have this awesome cup. Look at this. Oh, is this not perfect? Wait, I'm backwards. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. What would you do? Well, I certainly wouldn't skydive. I know some people who would, but I have no desire. And here's the thing. This week, as Mercury is now going direct, and we are feeling what our perceptions are, the difference between a desire, but fear holds you back, or a situation where you just don't want to do it. You just don't want, people might say, and that's where I got that idea. When I was talking to someone once and he said he did a skydiving thing. And I was like, really? Wow. Okay. That's cool. How was it? How was your experience? And we laughed. It was a very entertaining story. And then somebody turned to me and said to me, would you go skydiving? And I thought about it and I said, no. They said, oh, you're afraid? And I thought, well, I think it would be kind of daunting jumping out of a plane. Like, so long, suckers. I hope I make it, but I just don't have the desire. Now, I did have a desire, and the people who are here with me today, hi, Natalia, people who are here with me today and also live nearby and know about Slide Rock, when our daughter Aaliyah, and this was during a Mercury in retrograde, folks. When our daughter Aaliyah was 3 or 4, we went to Slide Rock, and I had a fear of heights. Most of my life, I had vertigo. So I did my best to discover what the vertigo was about. It wasn't just about climbing. It was about being grounded, because I can, experience a lot of not grounded because of my intuition. So we were at Slide Rock. My brother-in-law was there, and there was, a lot of kids, teenagers. And if you haven't been to Slide Rock, it is a place where you can go where the water comes down from the mountains. You can actually sit, put your hands like this, and you slide down this. It's a water slide, but it's made out of rocks. It's made out of nature. And so before you get to the part where you could slide down, there's a cliff you can go up, and it's, I think, 12 to 15 feet high. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump off that cliff. I'm going to jump straight down. There's only 8 feet that I, had to aim, and I'm going to jump straight down, and the water is freezing. So I went up there, and I was like, oh, ready to go. Here I go. Oh, no, you go in front of me. And there were a line of teenagers just going for it, jumping. And I saw a young girl go twice, and she was behind me. And I turned to her, and I said, okay, what was it like? What do I need to do? Because I'm really scared. And she said, just look at the middle of the space you have to jump into. That's all. Just look at the middle of the space, and you just go. You just got to go for it. And I said, okay, because, what other advice are you going to give to someone who's afraid to jump? And the more you're afraid, the more you're afraid. And so I didn't want to be afraid anymore. And my daughter's at the bottom screaming, jump, mama, jump. People, like a crowd drew. There was this biker chick, and she was like, jump, mama, you can do it. You can do it. So I went ahead, and I did it, and I just did it. And I jumped, and I went straight down. And you have to negotiate the people who were sliding by too. I was scared to death, but I thought, if I don't do this that I want to do, you say I was held back by fear. I had a desire to jump, but I was so terrified that I was going to get hurt. And then I just did it. And when I came out of the water, it was the most exhilarating feeling, as if I had gone skydiving. So there's that. Okay. So I have time for, first of all, I didn't see, because I have to scroll through a lot of stuff. So did people have sightings, Mercury retrograde sightings? Did people from their past come back and teach you something about yourself? Okay. So I have time for 2 questions. And here's what would help me to help you. And that is, if you have one question, please give me your full name, first, middle, and last, your birth date, and your question, all in one little section, so that I can help you. Now I'm going to take a sip of my drink. And while I'm waiting for anyone to give me that information so I can help, I think it's really important too that we recognize that when Mercury goes direct, it's not just about the planets. This is sentient being psychology, and that is who you are and who you are becoming is not just dependent upon Lori Hall, Aquarius here, 62, and no fear. Okay, groovy. It's not just who you are now, but it's dependent upon the, as I'm talking about Mercury and perceptions, it's dependent upon what you choose to do based on what your joys are. Okay, so once you know what your joys are, you can get clear on how to approach. Now, there are always proven methods to build a business, to have healthy relationships with people, to, plan whatever you want to do. To plan these things, it just takes a little thought, right? But always ask the expert. Ask experts in their field what their experience was. Not so much, help me with this thing, but ask them what was their biggest aha. What was the top 3 things that if they could teach someone, what they would learn, how they could learn something. When we ask for help, we open ourselves up to trusting that our needs are being met. So, and then we detach from the answer. I think that's important too. Okay, so let me look. Okay, so Lori says January, so that's a 1, 2. I got to do a little addition. When will love come find me? Okay, so you're in a 7-year, but here's I think the bigger question for anyone who asks about love or money. when will you allow love to come find you? I think that's the question to ask. And you might say, now I'm ready. But that's why I say retrogrades are great for going in and discovering if you're really ready, then where are the people? You see, you're the magnet. So if you're not attracting what you really want and need and desire and would like to have and choose to have, then there's a gap, right? There's a stopgap in between you and somebody else. So this year, or you and the world, or you and your expectations, or you and your past experiences come back and say, oh, I don't want to repeat the past. There's no way. I want a relationship. But I don't want a relationship. So you have to decide for yourself if you're ready to move in a direction of having it be more honest, more intimate, and more fluid without the control, okay? Because that's a thing that's going to kill it. And this being a 7-year for you, Lori, it means anytime you push out into the world's going to push you right back. So now's the time to do all the meditations. Now's the time to do the counseling, get the work done. And you might say, oh, I've done work before. Okay, but now, if you're asking this question and you're in a 7-year, it is about research. It is about self-reflection and saying, if I really trust that that person, that love is going to find me, will I allow it? And then write down on a piece of paper all the things you will not allow in a relationship. And once you get that out of the way, then write down the things you will allow. I allow support, love. I allow affection. I allow sexuality. So once you get clear on those things in this year, it's going to be a lot better for you next year. Powerhouse. Okay, I have time for one more question. Adrian, what a pretty name. Okay, so let's see. Adrian, Nicole Walker, 10-3-84. 10 and 3. Let's do a little addition. Thanks for being patient. And let me know, folks, if this is helping you. All right, 6-year for you, Adrian. Let me just get a read. Am I supposed to build a serious music career? Okay, again, do you want to build a serious music career? That's the question. Are you supposed to? Is there really a supposed to? There are things that we are meant to do karmically, and that is something I can see in a chart. Oh, by the way, if you've just joined us and you're not familiar with me or what's going on here, as an intuitive astrologer, I am looking at Mercury in retrograde going direct this week, but also helping you to get your mojo back. And you can do that with a private 40-minute karmic clarity reading. Go to the book now button. I'm just extending it for this week only. And I'm going to focus seriously on where your karma is and how to overcome it and the steps to take to move on so that you can go forward. And questions like, am I supposed to? Sometimes, if you've got the joy and you've got the heart and you want to do it, you go do it, right? But the questions that come up like, oh, I've tried it, or I did it a few times and I'm not making any money, or I'm not. Let's take finances out of the equation just for a minute. And you know that you want to build a music career. And let me just get a read on your name. Okay, so okay, you know how talented you are, and it's just you're always singing. There's always music flowing through you, and the sound is very melodious is the word that comes. And so to build a career around that, folks, 2 things to know and understand, please. A job is, a job is what you do to pay the bills. A career and a profession is what your soul and spirit has come here to do. Now, do you feel it in your soul? Do you feel that this is the thing I really want to be doing? Then that's what you go for, and you build it step by step. Now, being a Libran, it's natural for you to do this, but then you get distracted and you go, oh, what's that? Squirrel. So you want to come back to center through getting grounded in meditation. Adrienne is the person who wants to be a musician. Nicole would rather have a family and heal through family. And Walker is definitely someone who wants to make an impression and then move on. No pun about the Walker business, but looks like your purpose is to go make music a part of your life in a big way. So I hope that helps you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If I didn't get to any more questions, we're running a little bit beyond. Oh, Lori says, thank you, beautiful lady. And if you've been to my live events before and I have answered some questions for you, I am making room for folks who are new or who just to give everybody a chance. So I'll be back Wednesday, August 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to be talking on actual proven techniques to help you get present and then to literally get over yourself so you can move forward in 30 seconds or less. Okay, so to book a private 40-minute karmic clarity reading, this is the last week to do it, Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. You can click on the book now, the blue book now button, or if you're on a mobile, you scroll to the bottom and see the button there. And it's 63% off. And we go deep. And we're going to go deep and wide into your karma and how we can help you move beyond so that you can do the thing you came to this earth to do and stop the spinning, right? And you can book now. You can book it now, but schedule it for later, anytime through December. So this way you get the savings now, and then you have time to plan when you want to actually do it. I had actually a client book 3 readings with me to save at a later date between now and through December. So that's a huge savings. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being. I wish you peace as always, and be sparkly, be beautiful. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.